Hello, hello, hello. We are waiting for the Aesop Rocky verdict, which, quite frankly, I cannot believe is not done yet. I really thought this jury was going to take like an hour. Boleyn theorized that they probably want a full day pay, so maybe they'll take 7 hours or 4 hours. Thank you for joining me. I am the lighting. Sorry, guys. This is not my studio. It's raining, very cold in Dallas. So I am live from my bedroom. Hi, Love Nona Creations. Good afternoon. How are you? Now I'm watching. I've got the trial on the big TV. I've got in the background here. So as soon as the verdict clock stops ticking, I will let you all know. Until then, we'll just talk shit. The jury has been deliberating for 3 hours and 1 minute and 49 seconds. And I am surprised. That is about 2 hours and 49 minutes more than I thought they would need to deliberate. I don't know. I always err on the side of innocent. The government has a high burden. And so, I always just, I don't know. I never think it's going to take that long. But I'm guessing this jury is spending, pardon me, guys, I just ate my new grill. I get so much shit stuck in there. Anyhow, I am guessing that the jury is like rewatching everything, maybe. I don't know. Hey, Jerome, welcome. Welcome to the broadcast. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I've literally been in court all day. I was in court until just a bit ago. Man, I had a crazy court day. I had a Bexar County hearing via Zoom, and it took 3 hours to see the judge. And then when I did see the judge, 3 minutes. That's your tax dollars at work there, guys. 3 hours and 3 minutes on the verdict clock. That's how long it took me to be heard and seen by the judge in Bexar County. It was crazy. It was nuts. Then I had to drive to Tarrant County. And luckily that judge, he said, it is wet and cold out. We are going to make it brief. So thank goodness for that. Man, what a day. So I never got through all the way through the closings because they took so long. I could not believe the closing arguments took days. I feel like the closing arguments took longer than the whole trial. It was wild to me. It was just crazy to watch those closings. And we watched most of the defense's Friday closing. But the prosecution's rebuttal, oh my God. That took 800 million years. That was So the prosecution, they really tripped me out. On their rebuttal, they mentioned how Rihanna had brought her children to the courtroom to listen to the closing arguments. All right. That's crazy to me. Like, The courtroom is a public forum. Anyone can go in there. It's open to the public, like, that's how our courts are structured, and so the fact that he, like, pointed that out and then made some comment like, "Who brings their toddler to court?" Well, sir, when the government tries to put that toddler's dad behind bars until that toddler is a teenager, I think the toddler has a vested interest in arriving at court and observing. I couldn't believe he brought it up, and, the judge did admonish him later and said, "Don't bring up Brianna or the kids again." Now on his rebuttal, the prosecutor did something I thought was very wise. He, he mentioned that he was aggressive and zealous, and he said, "If you had a loved one that was a victim of a crime, you would want the prosecutor to be as zealous as I have been." And I think that was a good line. That was a good move to describe why he was being such a dick. Because, oh my God, he was just out of his mind the whole trial. And that just shows me that he's not used to actually having to work for his verdicts, because he was just so mad that Rocky's lawyer was making objections and, doing his job. And so that says to me that this guy doesn't actually often have to do any work, which is awful. That's not how the government, the court system should be. Like, the government should have to work very hard to put us behind bars. Very hard. So they should be used to working very hard. But that guy, what was his name? Levin or something? Dude was out of his mind. Okay, I'm gonna keep him off the glare. It's too bad. I just won't be able to see anything. Dude is out of his mind. Like, I never seen a prosecutor go just act the way he did at all. So I thought it was good when he tried to, "Hey, K-Way, good to see you. Thank you for joining." I thought it was good when the prosecutor made that point, like, you would want a zealous advocate if this was your family member that was a victim. But I will bring up the injury again here. Are you a victim if you scrape your knuckles in a fight? Hmm. Yeah, I don't think so. The whole Relly's whole story is just bad. Even his injuries are bad. It's not good. Hi, Anya. Good to see you. Um, I just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I cannot believe we're at 3 hours and 10 minutes. 3 hours and 10 minutes? Like, what is there even to talk about for 3 hours and 10 minutes? To me, it's so cut and dry. Dude scraped his knuckles while he was beating people up. Another dude shot a gun. Who knows what kind of gun it was? It didn't damage the cement. Everyone, everyone testified that Rocky shot downward. Everyone testified that Rocky shot downward. The video supported that Rocky shot downward. But the police saw no evidence of, like, a hole in the ground or like some kind of, freshly torn up asphalt or anything. So we know he shot down, and we know a real bullet, if it hits asphalt or cement, there's going to be maybe not a hole, right? But there's going to be some kind of evidence of a freaking bullet having gone, I mean, it's a lot of velocity. I don't like physics, but it's a lot of velocity. It's enough velocity to make some kind of mark. And the cops didn't see that. Another issue I have, and I would have if I was a juror, this would deeply trouble me, is that Relly found his own evidence. If you've seen an episode of CSI, an episode of Law and Order, an episode of Forensic Files, shit, if you've seen an episode of Dexter, you know that the police are supposed to collect the evidence. So the fact that Relly brought these shells in is like, it's absolutely crazy to me. It is crazy to me that the state of California spent time and money on this case, particularly when all these people just had their homes burnt down and now there's landslides. Particularly when they have an incredible homeless crisis there. It does not make any sense to me. Guys, tell me your thoughts in the comment. While we wait for this verdict, let's chit chat. Get in these comments. Let's talk. You guys are what make me interesting. It just the whole case seems like just such a waste of money. You know, we as a people, prosecutors, as prosecutors, need to think about the economics of any case and do a cost benefit analysis. Does the cost of prosecuting this case weigh or outweigh with the benefits, right? I mean, you look at someone like Richard Ramirez, okay, the Night Stalker. That guy was on like a murder spree. So yeah, the cost here. There's more lives lost if we don't prosecute. The cost in this case is outlandishly high. For what? Rocky is not a danger to society. Relly is a danger to society. Ah, it's crazy. Hi, Nene. Good to see you. Yeah, K-Way. They let Relly do his own investigation. And then when they saw Relly testify, maybe they realized, oh, that probably wasn't that bright. Latrice, good to see you. Our judicial system is not designed for the innocent. Well, technically, you are innocent until proven beyond a reasonable doubt by the government to be guilty. The issue with our judicial system is, in fact, the people who believe that you're guilty just because you were accused. The people who believe that police are doing a great job. Oh, well, if they brought charges against them, they must be guilty. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Terry, thank you for joining us. Terry says not guilty. I think it's going to be not guilty too. Although at 3 hours and 13 minutes, I'm like, this might be a hung jury. Dime M, good to see you. They are mad because they can't charge him anything else if he's found not guilty. That's right. There's this thing called double jeopardy. So you can only be charged with the same crime once. Big homie Slick, good to see you. Once I heard the so-called victim bringing his own evidence, I knew his case was trash. I am like actually shocked that we are at 3 hours and 15 minutes on Verdict Watch when dude brought in his own evidence. Like, what? These chain of custody issues and things under the federal rules of evidence, the California rules of evidence. So I don't even know how that evidence was allowed to be presented at the trial. It doesn't even make sense to me. Hi, Dime. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for subscribing. Make sure you hit like also. We are demonetized until tomorrow, and then YouTube will give us another shot. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, we're at Cashapp, lcadilac. Jerome says it's going to be interesting. Y'all, how are we at 3 hours and 15 minutes? Okay, here we go. Enye. If they've reached a verdict, would they have to wait to announce it until after 90 minutes of letting attorneys know? So typically, what happens is the jury is released to the jury deliberation room. The attorneys either hang out in the courtroom or, I don't know, go eat lunch, go do whatever, but they have to be nearby. When the judge or when the jury tells the judge they have a verdict, then the attorneys and prosecution, the defendants, all of them are called back. And then once everyone is back in the courtroom, then the judge will go back on the record and have the jury foreman read the verdict. Or maybe the judge reads the verdict. I don't know what they do in California. Okay. So, they don't have to wait until after 90 minutes of letting attorneys know. No, there's no time like that. They have to wait until all the attorneys are back in the courtroom. Okay. And I'm guessing because Rocky's lawyer is from Connecticut, he's probably chilling in the courtroom. He's probably waiting in the courtroom or at the courthouse somewhere nearby. The prosecutors are probably in their office working on something else, trying to distract themselves from this jury verdict and waiting for it. Great question, Enye. Dime says, so how long before the judge tells the jury they have to start deliberating tomorrow if it takes too long? It's only 2 p.m. there. It's only 2 p.m. So if they reach, 4:45, somewhere in there, the judge will likely ask them, do you think you need another hour or do you think you need another day? And then they'll decide. Callie, usually when the jury is out determining the verdict, unless the jury says we need another 8 hours, then usually they just stay late until they have the verdict. So I think it was Sarah Boone. I think they came in with the verdict around 6:37. So usually they'll have a conversation with the judge around 4:30, 4:45 their time. Mind you, it's only 2:19 there. So y'all got to be talking in the chat because I cannot just talk for freaking 6 hours on my own. I mean, I can. But you probably won't enjoy it. I don't know, man. I don't think the jury will want to stay any longer than they have to. At 3 hours and 18 minutes of deliberation right now, I'm thinking they're probably kind of nearing a logical conclusion. I don't know though. I don't know. Uh I think on the YNM Melly or YNW Melly, I think that jury deliberated for like 6 hours before they said they were hung. I remember it wasn't a whole lot. Dime says, I'm on the edge of my chair waiting for them to come back with a verdict of not guilty. I truly thought it was going to be not guilty, but I feel like a not guilty would have been faster. So now, the longer it takes, the higher chances, I believe, of a guilty or hung jury. I don't think it's a hung jury yet. No. But the thing is, Callie, the only real evidence is the video. Relly's testimony sucked. I guess the testimony of 12, the detective's testimony didn't do anything. Uh Yeah, I just can't think of it. Like, what evidence are they reviewing for 3.5 hours? I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it wasn't a lot of evidence, guys. The state had Relly. They had 2 bullet casings that didn't match the prop gun or any gun that Rocky owned. And they had the 911 caller. Oh, and the cop that showed up for the 911. Big Home's like, I don't know. We were demonetized for I don't know what. But we should be back in business tomorrow. And if you want to donate between now and then, it's Cashapp, #lcadilac. Here, I'll put it in here. I appreciate your support, your thumbs up, your likes, your subscribes. I appreciate it so much. Nene says, I think it will be not guilty. They're probably stuck on the real gun or not. Yeah. So if it's a prop gun, no laws were broken. If it's a real gun, then they have the question of self-defense of others. I think the self-defense of others is pretty cut and dry in that video where Relly literally charges at Ills and then Rocky gets out the gun and shoots it. And he didn't shoot it at Relly. He shot it down. Jerome says if they still had the prop gun, this would be over by now. You are correct. Based off of the Alec Baldwin case, that's really my only experience with prop guns. Seems like prop guns are like kind of loosey goosey. Like they just kind of go wherever. And people don't really, I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're keeping good track of them. K-Way says someone must be playing hypocritical games trying to consider evidence that wasn't provided. Oh, maybe hypothetical games, you mean? I don't know. I mean, who knows? So one thing that is interesting is the videos. There's kind of like 2 sets of videos, right? There's the actual raw footage, and then there's this like blended footage that the detective put together. In the blended footage, the sound of the gun and the firing of the gun do not match. And that not matching is what the prosecution is like relying on, that split second. So there is definitely a chance that they spent the last 3 hours and 23 minutes watching the blended video and then watching the actual just raw footage, the 2 videos separate of each other. I feel that the raw footage is far more accurate, and I would have a hard time putting someone in jail for 8 years on the blended video. Callie, if it was not for ASAP 12E's testimony, I would have no idea what happened in any of those videos. Like, thank God 12E was able to, like, first of all, that he was wearing red, and then that he was able to, like, point at things so we could actually see what was going on. Stuff was crazy. Dime says that could be true because the prosecutor just said, let's just imagine. Sir, we are not about to guess. Show this evidence. Yes. Let's see. When they scattered like roaches, if they knew it was a fake gun, it's got me scratching my head. And why would you run behind a wall if you knew it was fake? So the defense brought up a good question, which I do think is an interesting question. The Rocky shot the gun and Relly still attacked. So my experience with guns when they've been pulled on me is that I get away as fast as possible. I just get away. One time I was at a stoplight and I guess this guy didn't like the person I was in the car with or something. And he literally pulled a gun and pointed it at me and my passenger. And first I laughed. I laughed because it's like broad daylight. Like, what are you gonna shoot me? You know. But then I gunned it. I hit the gas pedal and I tore out of there. I'm not trying to sit around, and I'm sure as hell not following someone who has pulled a gun on me. I'm not following them. I'm not following them and harassing them and continuing to yell profanity at them. That's absolute craziness. Relly was shown in the video beating all of them up. Dude was on. Yes. So the most significant part of the video to me is where Relly just like runs at Ills and just full force, like quarterback or whoever tackles people. Whoa, like at Ills, who it was established is kind of a crackhead and who is obviously not going to be able to defend himself against a big, huge, large man like Relly. So the minute Relly went towards Ills and started like doing the running back thing, self-defense of another. Big home slice. I stay in Oak Cliff, man. Oh, I did. I used to stay in Oak Cliff. If you don't know about Oak Cliff, let me see. There's a whole song by Trap Boy Freddy. Okay. I'll share it here because I can't play it. But Oak Cliff, that's my hood, okay? So sometimes when you in the cliff, people be pulling guns. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You just drive away. So Dub, why was the prosecutor so mean and condescending? I know. I think he was mean and condescending because I believe he did not like the fact that Rocky's attorney was a Yankee. That's my best guess. Rocky's attorney is not a California lawyer. He's not been trained on California law. There's this thing called pro hoc vice. And basically, if a very good client of mine had a case in Wisconsin and they wanted me to be there, then I could find a Wisconsin lawyer who would sponsor me to be pro hoc vice. Now, the expectation is when you are serving as an attorney pro hoc vice, that you familiarize yourself with that state law because you are governed by that state law. This is my dog. This is Timmy. Timmy, say hi. Come here. That's Timmy. Okay. So if you're serving as an attorney pro hoc vice, so if I'm doing some case in Wisconsin for my client, you are expected, and I would be expected to be familiar with Wisconsin law and Wisconsin objections and etc. Right? Rocky's lawyer was clearly terrible at objections. Like, objection, Your Honor. He's oh my god. Objection, Your Honor. When he should be saying objection hearsay, objection speculation, objection non-responsive, right? Like, he only made speaking objections. So he very clearly does not know like any objections. And so I think the prosecutor is, first he wants that home team advantage. I'm sure he is irritated as hell. Objection, Your Honor. I mean, I would be irritated as shit by that guy too. If I was in a Texas courtroom and I was going against that guy, I would make a very big point of how that man is a carpetbagging Yankee. Okay. And we don't do that in Texas, y'all. Right. I would definitely make that a point. I think the prosecutor he alluded to that kind of thing, but I think he was just mainly irritated with Rocky's lawyer. Because, I mean, quite frankly, Rocky's lawyer is irritating because he's not a California lawyer. So to a California lawyer doing a California thing, that's irritating as hell. I get it. I can't speculate as to why he did not object to burden shifting, but that is a very good, reasonable guess. Yes. Dude is terrible at objections. Terrible at objections. And if y'all were with us during the YSL, you know that the attorney who asks the questions is also the attorney that has to make the objections. So Tapioca couldn't just say, hey, California lawyer that's sitting next to me with the beard, you make objections, I'll ask the questions. That's not allowed. That would be a much better strategy in their case because presumably California lawyer knows the objections. I don't know. The objections were terrible. I mean, just awful. Your Honor. And then the prosecutor started doing the same thing. Like the prosecutor made legal objections until Tapioca kept doing the speaking objections. Then they just both started speaking objections back and forth, back and forth. So, Aaron, we are waiting for the verdicts. The jury has been deliberating for 3 hours, 31 minutes, and 32 seconds. Okay. Kaylee says the prosecutor tried to bring it up, but he himself was so argumentative and rude, the judge wasn't trying to hear it. I mean, the prosecutor kept raising his voice to the judge. Like, you don't yell at a judge. That's okay. And one thing the judge said he was going to sanction them for was arguing about the judge's rulings. The deal is, if a judge makes a ruling, you just zip it. You accept the damn ruling, unless it's like completely egregious, right? If the judge says sustained, you just move on. Just move on. The place to fight about a judge's poor ruling is at the appeals court. Not with that judge, not in front of the jury. Just accept his ruling and move on. And Levin, or whatever his damn name was, the prosecutor, he could not accept a ruling to save his life. He would just argue. The judge's like, I made my ruling. That shit would drive me nuts. I would sanction people for that. I would not be a good judge. People would be going to jail every day if I was a judge. I mean, like, that's contemptuous. How dare you argue with me? I can't work for the government, y'all. I think I could be non-biased. I think I could apply like facts to the law. But the first time someone backtalked me, I'd send them straight to jail. I wouldn't have it. Kaylee says, sometimes I couldn't tell the difference between the prosecutor or Relly. Seems like they could be. Yeah, they both had some serious anger issues. One thing I learned from this trial is Relly needs therapy. That is an angry human being. Okay. That's about all I learned from this. Well, I also learned who ASAP 12 was, who ASAP Blue was, who ASAP Relly was, because I'd never heard of those people before. That's it. That's all I learned. I mean, it's not like they presented any real, true evidence. The detective was on the stand for like 2 days and offered nothing to help the prosecution. It was crazy. The whole thing was wild. Again, just a giant waste of taxpayer dollar. This is why local elections matter. Now, federal elections, those don't really matter. The Electoral College chooses the president for us. Federal doesn't actually usually affect us on a day-to-day basis unless we're a federal employee. But local elections, those matter, okay? Because that's how you get judges. That's how you get a DA. You know, there is an ADA who was elected, okay, or well, not an ADA, a DA that was elected that allowed this case to go forward. If I'm them, I'm voting against that guy or girl. No, that is a waste of my money. You have done a poor job. I'm not reelecting you. Jerome says Rocky should have stayed his butt in the hotel. He had no business coming down there with his fake gun. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. What you gonna do about it now? It's too fucking late. Shoulda, woulda, coulda was one of my dad's favorite things. If we all had like, psychic abilities, we'd all be filthy rich. I would have bought Google stock when I was like, 10. Jerome says he initiated the conversation. Does that say anything? No, conversation initiation doesn't matter. What matters is who initiates the fight, the physical aspect. Who initiates the physical aspect? And then is it self defense? And is it appropriate self defense? You can't, like, if I come at you with the knife, you can't shoot me with the gun, right? Like, under the law, because, it's got to be knife on knife. So the question of, like, who's talking shit, like, we have a right in America to talk as much shit as we want to whoever we want. So, okay, we are 3 hours and 35 minutes into the jury deliberating, which is wild. I really didn't think it would take anywhere near this long, honestly. I need a quick comfort break. I will be right back. Please enjoy the view of my bedroom. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. This is fun. It's nice to be, like, just chilling with y'all. I feel he's going to be guilty on one charge, innocent on the other. Okay, that could totally be true and would help explain why they're taking so long. Another thing that I thought about is the judge does the sentencing in this case. And I was thinking, the judge hears the whole trial, he sees all the evidence, the jury decides if he's guilty or not guilty, and then the judge decides what the sentence is, right? I was thinking maybe the judge, if they do find him guilty of one of the charges, possibly the judge would do a really lenient sentence. And certainly, since originally the state had offered Rocky 18 months, there's a very big possibility that the judge goes pretty light. That was kind of my thinking. If he's found not guilty, he needs to say, y'all, he is married to Rihanna. He is married to a billionaire. He can do whatever he wants. Shit, they could take over the damn White House. She's a billionaire. She could be on Doge or whatever. My understanding is that Rocky is a really committed father. As I understand it, they don't have nannies. As I understand it, they take care of their own children. And I just think, when he's found to be not guilty, he should just take time to be a dad. Just go be a dad. The kids are toddlers. They're only young ones. My son, he's already 20. So, like, it goes so fast. Yeah. Sorry about that. I mean, they grow up so quick. Like, that is a real thing. They grow up so fast. And it would behoove Rocky to be a stay-at-home dad. Your wife's a billionaire. Why even bother working? I had seen a bunch of pictures, because of this case, like, bunch of pictures of him and Riri. And they are always just, like, grinning at each other, just smiling ear to ear. And I think it is precious. I'm like, I think it's so cute. I hope that they last. I hope that it's a good, solid relationship. And their sons are precious. Maybe they could try for a daughter. Who knows? Um, but yeah, I would hate to see this man go to jail behind his extortionist ex childhood friend. Very much an extortionist. Hey, Red Bunny, I missed you too. Where have you been? Good to see you. Y'all get in this chat, please. Get in this chat. The jury has been deliberating for 3 hours and 40 minutes. All right. Get in the chat. I need something to talk about. I cannot believe 3 hours and 40 minutes. It seems like 3 hours more than this necessary. It really does. Man, I had court yesterday. I had a ton of court today. It was like, I feel like I worked 2 weeks in the last 2 days. It's been really tiring. I'm supposed to have court tomorrow, but it's probably going to be icy. So we'll see. Do I watch Young Sheldon? I think about every time. It's such a great. No, Red Bunny, I have not watched it. My daughter has watched it and she really has enjoyed it. What about it makes you think of me? Tell me more. Y'all, do I look like Paul Wall with my braces on? I actually saw Paul Wall recently, like not in real life, but on TV. And he has really aged finely. He has turned into quite the silver fox. And he slimmed down. I said, okay, Paul Wall. Okay. Hmm. Oh, because they're a family from Texas. Okay. Well, Red Bunny, my family consists of me and my 2 children. So it's just the three of us. Jerome, do I really believe it's a prop? Yeah, because I feel like if a real gun had been shot, there'd be some sort of evidence in the asphalt. There'd be some kind of issue or something in the cement. And I don't think those injuries to the knuckle were caused by a bullet at all. I think they were caused by Relly punching things. Relly is clearly violent. Yes, Jerome, I am from Texas. Paul Wall is, one of our own. There's actually a show on Netflix called Mo. It's a comedy. If you guys haven't seen it, it's great. It's based in Houston, and Paul Wall makes a special appearance. That's how I realized like I saw him live once actually. What year is that? I'm gonna say 2018-ish. I actually went into a head shop. I don't think we're allowed to say that, like a pipe store. And right next to the cash register was this little thing, and it said like Paul Wall. And I was like, oh. And I grabbed it, and it was that night, and I was like, oh, I'm totally going to this. So I went down to Deep Ellum in Dallas, and I saw Paul Wall, and he was great. It was a great show. I had so much fun. Red Bunny, I think Paul Wall is actually much better looking now than he was when he was a chunky little boy. Uh, oh, he's kind of a silver fox, y'all. I'm like, okay, Paul Wall, okay. He was so like, oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. This is great. This is great. This guy he was kind of a little chunk. Hold on. Where'd it go? No. He was a chunk. No, where did it go? And now he's lost a lot of weight. I mean, the dude is looking way better. So my son is down at UT Austin, and he said that he turned everyone on to Slim Thug. There was that I Run, that Slim Thug song. Oh man, I was obsessed with that song. My son was like 3, 4 or 5, I don't know. We'd be like, I run. And the line, Mr. Obama, we're tired of selling crack. Oh man, so my son turned them on to Slim Thug over at the dorm at UT Austin. That makes me so proud. I know, Red Bunny. We are at 3 hours and 45 minutes, and I am just in shock myself. Like, I thought 3 hours ago we'd have a verdict. I honestly thought I was gonna be in court because I was in court all day, and I thought I was gonna miss the verdict and that I would have to come on and recap. I'm shocked. I do not understand what is taking so long. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think they have to have I'm pretty sure they have to have a consensus of all 12. It's California. Let me ask the Google. Yeah. All 12 jurors must agree unanimously on a verdict in a criminal case. Okay. So in California, all 12 of them have to agree on the verdict. And if they all 12 can't agree, so if they have 11 that agree and one that doesn't, then they either have to convince that last one or they get a hung jury. Okay. So that is difficult, and I'm guessing, I don't want anyone to be insulted here, but I'm guessing the holdup is some baby boomers. You know who you are. You know why I say that. Baby boomers tend to believe that the police won't come after you unless they have a reason to. Particularly if those baby boomers share the skin color I have. Understood? And so in my mind, when I imagine this, I'm thinking of like a baby boomer that has the same skin color as me. That's like, oh no, he had it. And then 11 Gen X, Gen Z, millennials going to, okay, boomer. That's how I imagine it. Thank you, Dime. I'm a Virgo. I'm as real and down to earth as they come, okay? Virgo sun, Cancer moon, and Taurus rising. I'm heavy on the earth sign. Yeah, just 3 hours and 48 minutes. Clearly there's a boomer. What do you bet his name is? Because you know it's a dude. Let's see, what's my dad's name? My dad's name was Jim. Maybe he's a Jim. In my mind, a Walter comes to mind. He's definitely a boomer holding this shit up. Because Gen Z, the Gen Zers trying to get home to their kids. The millennial is also trying to get home to their much younger kids. I'm sorry, the Gen Xer is trying to get home to their kids. Millennials trying to get home to their much younger kids. The Gen Z, they just want to get their cell phone back. Another thought, I thought, well, maybe they're deliberating for a long time because one of them has to go back to work if they get released early. No, I don't want to go to my 2 o'clock. I don't know. We can only speculate. I can only make fun of boomers for so long. Actually, I could go on for days. I literally could go on for days making fun of boomers. How about this? These people have children, then they take their children to soccer, and then they buy participation awards for their children for participating in soccer. Then their children grow up and they make fun of their children for receiving a participation award at the soccer place that they bought the award and they drove the kid to. Please stop electing boomers for president, okay? For the love of God, please stop electing boomers. These are the people that they paid for the participation. Who do you think? Do you think us 7-year-olds were like, hey, awards place, do you sell participation awards? Hell no. They did that. They invented it. And then they try to turn around and use it as a weapon against us. Quit electing boomers. With the exception of this judge in LA, because this judge is a boomer and he's a badass. I loved watching this judge. He was so freaking funny to me. Like, just stop yelling. Stop yelling. I never heard a judge say stop yelling so much in my life. Oh, it was great. Jerome, I'm glad you like my humor. It's not for everybody. But, I don't care. I've never been one to try to be for everybody. I've always just been myself, and you either like it or you don't. I really don't care where you land on that scale. It's nice when people like me, that's for sure. But, I will survive tomorrow and the next day if people don't like me. I'm a lawyer. Half the people I come into contact with hate me because they're on the other side of the V. It's the life I chose. It's okay. I know who I am. Man, 3 hours and 52 minutes of deliberation. One thing that's really kind of irksome in this case is that everything was televised except the jury charges, which is like the instructions. Like, here's the elements that need to be met, blah, blah, blah. For some reason, we didn't get to, the judge wouldn't allow that to be televised. And so now I'm left wondering, since we're damn near 4 hours into deliberations, are the jury charges like super complex? Because if they're super complex, if they're like 30 pages long, that could be a big part of what's taking so long. Most Americans are not the greatest readers. So, if it's 30 pages of legal jargon, that really could slow it down. We won't know, though, because we weren't given access to hear the jury charges. We didn't get to see the jury instructions. So there's really no way for us to know, is that like, maybe it took them 2 hours just to read the charges, and now they've only really truly been deliberating for like an hour and 50 minutes. We don't know. That did kind of irritate me. I also, not just the fact that we don't know what the charges say or how long the damn packet is, but being on a jury is like, besides paying taxes, the only thing your country asks you to do. Our military system is volunteer. So it's kind of important, in my opinion. Like, this is the most American activity there is, to serve on a jury. It seems to me that that is what should be published and played for in public. But, I am not this judge. Okay, so TV just announced there's a verdict. I am watching. Okay, here we go. The jury has reached a verdict. It is going to be read at 4:30 p.m. PT. That's an hour and a half from now. Jesus. All right. So it took them 3 hours and 53 minutes and 30 seconds to reach a verdict. 3 hours, 53 minutes, and 30 seconds to reach a verdict. That's crazy. And so Enye, I guess it is a 90 minutes. I guess the judge did tell them that they were going to have the 90 minutes. I agree with you, Jerome, that this is probably most likely a not guilty. Is the state doesn't win, is Relly's civil case harder to win? Do you know? I don't know who represents him, but I do know that it will be harder to win. Yes. If Rocky is found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this crime, then it's pretty easy on the civil, because you just come in and go, look, 12 of your peers found at a higher legal standard that he did this. Your legal standard in civil court is usually more likely than not. Okay, they're going to be read at 420. So the standard in civil court is usually like 51% more likely than not. A criminal court, that's beyond a reasonable doubt. That is the highest standard that there is in the American jurisprudence system. So if you go into civil court and you say, look, this highest burden was met that he did it, then yeah, that makes your civil case a lot easier. A lot easier. Okay. Since they are coming back at 4:20, that is 6:20 my time. It's only 5 right now. I am going to set an alarm. I'm going to come back. What do you guys think? 4 o'clock my time? No. 6 o'clock my time. Okay, so I'm going to come back 20 minutes before they're supposed to read the verdict. I will have a different live for that. I will have a different thumbnail. Be on the lookout. I'm going to come back in 1 hour and 2 minutes, and we will watch the jury, the verdict being read. All right. Thank you so much for hopping. Oh, I'll still be in bed, by the way. It will still be in my bedroom. Sorry. But it's cold out here in Texas right now. So come back. I will be here at 6 p.m. Central, which is 4 p.m. Pacific, which is 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll hang out and chill for the, oh, no, now they just changed it to 4. So we'll be back. We will watch the verdict live together. Okay. That is, let's see, it's 3 p.m. Pacific there. So 1 hour from now, I'll hop on a little early. We'll BS a little, and then we'll watch the verdict live together. Thank you so much for being here just now. Thank you. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit the little bell notification so when I come back, you can watch this live with us. It's going to be awesome. Thank you. Oh, I'll quit singing. I don't want to hurt your ears. I'll see you soon.